Salve Maria. Whenever we go to the ocean, we see the vastness of the water. At night, when we contemplate the stars, the moon, we can't even count how many stars there are. Did you ever try to count stars? Did you ever try to count the grains of sand on the beach? What about the earth? How many times have you visited all of the states in a certain country? For instance, the vastness of Alaska. Who's traveled all of the space of Alaska, or all of the states in America, or all of the provinces in Canada, or all of the states in a large country as Brazil or China or India? But Mary, she contained the author, he who created all of the stars, the firmament, earth, and the sea in her cloister. She did that because she accepted the will of God. But above all, before accepting the will of God, she rejected sin. She rejected darkness. In our days, those who have the solution for sickness, for evilness, for sin, must reject that which is the contrary of the will of God. Sin is exactly to use the gifts of God in a form, a fashion, which is contrary to His will. For instance, if I had to hammer a nail into the wall to place a picture frame, and I took the goblet here, or the chalice, the Mass chalice, and I started to hammer with the chalice used for Mass, for celebrating the sacrifice of Calvary, someone would say I'm crazy because I'm using the chalice to hammer a nail into the wall when I should use a hammer. That would be a sin. That would be a fault. At the time when Our Lady was a child, she always prayed that the mother, that there would be a mother that she could serve, a mother of Christ, of the Messiah, that she could serve. She wanted to be the servant of the Mother of God. She didn't know that. She went contemplating little by little. She went contemplating little by little. How would the mother be? How would this mother of God, of the Messiah, she didn't know it would be God. Little by little, she contemplating Isaiah, contemplating other prophets, she came to the idea, the mother, she must be living. She must be a young lady who is magnificent. If I could come in contact with her, how should she be? And that was when the Archangel Saint Gabriel appeared to her and said, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. She was disturbed by those words. She was disturbed by those words. But she started to listening. She started to listen. Oh, what he's saying, what the Archangel is saying, very beautiful. But that's not for me. I have the intention of being a virgin. But the Archangel, some authors say, spoke with her for around 9 hours, explaining the mysteries of God, and explaining what God wanted to do with her. And she said yes, but she wanted to do the will of God with pleasure, with all energy, with strength, with emphasis, because She was very upset. She hated the situation, the darkness in which mankind lived at the time. So, my brothers and sisters, today we celebrate the feast of the Annunciation, in which God became human in the cloister, in the motherly cloister, the virgin cloister of Mary Most Holy. And it was when God subjected himself, when he became a slave, he became a servant of his mother. That's why in some pictures, some icons, we see the child Jesus putting his hands in the hands of his mother, Mary. That was the sign of those who were servants, those who were at the service of their master, of their mistress, to put their hands, and they would have their hands encompassed in the hands of their Lord, the hands of their mistress, the hands of their mother. God became a slave of Mary, and Mary became a slave of God. Be it done to me according to thy word. And Jesus said, my paradise, I will place myself, I will be a servant, I will subject myself, be submitted, and enter into the cloister, a cloister which he made his paradise. So today we contemplate this great mystery. First of all, Mary, rejecting all sin, all darkness, contemplating what would be the solution. The solution would be to be a holy slave, to be a slave full of enchantment, wanting to do totally the will of God. And God wanting to subject himself to Mary so that he could become human and be the salvation. Be the salvation and perform the salvation of all those who are subject to the darkness. So if we want to overcome sickness, if we want to overcome even coronavirus, what is necessary is that we become slaves of the will of God. First of all, praying, then acting and avoiding all sin, contemplating and asking ourselves what we can do in this period to be agreeable to do the will of God with all pleasure. The pleasure of doing will of God. That is the feast of our days, the feast of the 25th of March, 2020. How can we do the will of God? How we can become slaves of Jesus through Mary Most Holy. May God bless you and give you this fortitude in our times to subject yourself to God's will, becoming a slave of Mary. To becoming a slave of Mary, putting our hands in her hands, she who received the hands of Jesus in her hands. May God bless you. Salve Maria.